All right, everyone. Jack Dorsey really loves to censor people. It's sort of, I think it's a hobby for him because he's one of those people that's really self-righteous and stuff. And he went off to Asia to meditate for a few weeks and eat, vegan food. And he felt that he attained enlightenment by smoking weed or something. Like he just took a month-long sabbatical in Africa and now he's got like a big Jedi beard and stuff. He looks like fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi or some shit at this point. And he's sort of a hateable guy, but his site is completely dysfunctional. There's a link in the description. There's a Sargon fan account on there, because of course Sargon can't have a Twitter, but people who are friends with him can. Greenwood Outlaw. And I guess he criticized critical race theory, which is the racist proposition that all of human history can be boiled down to white people are bad. That's basically what it is. You can look into it yourself and see if I'm wrong. This isn't some sort of conspiratorial thing. It's just, that's sort of what's being taught, I guess, in schools. Trump has actually ripped that component out of it for training for government bodies. Like, I guess government bureaus were basically teaching people Marxism, and it's very subversive and wrong and anti-American, and he has shoved that aside with an executive order. Another reason to re-elect him, by the way. But I guess Jack Dorsey is a fan of critical race theory. Maybe that's why he went off to Africa to dump a bunch of money into the local economy to take care of his white guilt for a while. It's basically reparations. Well, Jack, if you're so into that sort of thing, you're a multi-billionaire, take $1 billion. Here's my challenge to Jack Dorsey. It'll be like the story of the widow's mite. $1 billion doesn't mean jack to you. Take $1 billion, because of course billionaires are evil. So actually take enough money so you're no longer a billionaire, and give it to a bunch of African villages. Why don't you do that and leave everyone else alone? White privilege does not exist. Wealth-based privilege does, and power-based privilege. The fact that there would be a discrepancy as a total aggregate between two groups of people is not evidence of systemic racism. It's just evidence that there's a difference between those groups of people when aggregated. It has nothing to do with individuals. For instance, I'm white. I was born into poverty. I spent the first 27 years of my life poor. Invariably poor. And I do mean legitimately poor. I don't mean like, hey, I had to have the generic cereal poor. I meant back when I was a smoker picking up cigarette butts off of the asphalt because I couldn't afford a pack. Addiction is a terrible thing. It makes you do stupid shit, especially alcoholism or crack smoking. Just ask Hunter Biden. Legitimately poor. Like, spring thaw comes, the snow on the roof melts, but the roof sucks, and so there's a cascade of water coming down your parents' bedroom wall. Poor. One missed paycheck away from the streets. Poor. Not like Jack Dorsey's idea of poor. Jack Dorsey's idea of poor is probably, you only have 5 bedrooms in your home. You have running water, but the hot water runs out a little bit because your neighbors are water hogs or something. That kind of poor. No, I mean legitimately poor, like WIC, like welfare poor. And Jack Dorsey sees me, though, under these auspices, I'm sure, as more privileged than a black person who has 2 PhD parents, a heart surgeon, and the head of dentistry at the local university, and has like a 6-figure trust fund. I've got more privilege than them, supposedly. It's not the reality. It's not even really a theory. It should be called the critical race bullshit hypothesis, because there's no theory behind it. In order to call it a theory, there should be some actual reason for it to be proposed. Like the theory of evolution is a theory. It's a theory in the sense that it was a hypothesis, but it's been tested over and over to the satisfaction of most people who understand what it's actually saying. No, it doesn't say that humans came from monkeys. It says we evolved from an ape-like common ancestor, hominids, and then fire was developed, and it was all downhill from there because we can now burn our food and it would suck. It's funny, paleo diet, everything raw. I guess it doesn't Jordan Peterson still eat nothing but steak or something? How does he not have renal failure by now? How is his liver not completely swamped? By the way, how are his arteries doing? I feel sorry for the dude. I think behind the scenes, his daughter probably eats more than rare steak, though. I think there's more in their fridge than just meat. I think that might be an illusion for the cameras. But critical race theory is bullshit. It's wrong. It's not true. There's no evidence for its basic proposition, which is that white people, if it weren't for those white people colonizing and impaling and imprisoning and so forth, that everything would be like utopia. Everything would be better. Please look at the history of literally every civilization on the face of the earth and see how much peace you actually have. Peace is broken out more recently because of mutually assured destruction. That's the odd part, is that the ability to completely wipe ourselves out has caused less war to happen. Except for proxy conflicts and counterterrorism, which is the same as terrorism in some cases, ops as well. But Jack Dorsey is fond of censorship. Twitter originally was basically, like any other tech platform, was where all the weirdos gathered to say weird shit. And what they're trying to do is make it like just a bunch of hipsters. So celebrities and the cool kids, people with the $1,000 camera and the Starbucks and stuff, they're trying to turn it basically into sort of like a style, like an Instagram sort of thing. An Instagram for political discourse. Well, good luck with that. There's a reason why Twitter's stock is constantly collapsing. That's about all. Peace out.